Mayor, you have a report?
Yes, and if I might ask for a point of privilege.
Yes, sir.
I'd like to invite come up, and it's also good to see our Representative Beckman in the audience back over here too.
Thank you, Mayor, Mr. President, council members. Two issues I'd like to come before you tonight and give you an update on. The first is really good news. I'm proud to be able to announce tonight that the grant for the removal of the Gurney building has been approved, and it is in the amount of $150,000, which should take care of everything on the site, get it down to a usable site for whatever the city's future use are. And Mayor, there's the letter from the governor, so good news, good news. So,
Thank you.
No check with you this time.
well, it takes a little while. It takes a little while to get the check. But that I know staff has worked really hard, city staff, to put all that together, and has worked over at least a couple of years to make that happen. So that's a big day, and I would like to express our appreciation to all of them that worked so hard to get that done. So the other thing that I wanted to update you on is the constitutional amendments that are going to be on the ballot November 8th. There are 14 of them, not including the one specifically for Autauga County, so 15 counting that one. There are 4 others that are not, don't apply to Autauga County or Prattville, so that leaves, what, 11? I'll go through some of these just briefly. I won't go into much detail, but the first one deals with the Auburn Board of Trustees, and I think if you're an Auburn fan, you'll probably vote yay on this one. An Alabama fan, vote nay. No, that's just a joke. I think we should all support it. It gives them some flexibility on their board. They had a lot of members. The terms expired at the same time due to some extenuating circumstances. The second one is very, very popular with the people. It deals with the state parks. As you all know, we've been taking money from state parks for years and years to balance the general fund budget. That's not a good way to do business. This constitutional amendment would actually prohibit the legislature from doing that. Amendment 3, right now, if there is a dissenting vote on any local legislation, then that has to be on the ballot statewide. That's kind of an archaic way of doing things. So if we vote in favor of this, what we'll do is we'll vote on the issue, and if it passes, then we'll have a second vote to determine if it's statewide or just for a local county or city. It'll be a whole lot better to do it that way. Amendment 4 is allowing some additional powers for the county commissions similar to what you all have on the city council, with the exception of taxation and zoning. Those are excluded. Amendment 5 is rewriting modernizing some language, taking some language out, dealing with separation of powers and that kind of thing. It's really a technical type of amendment. Amendment 6 is dealing with impeachments. Right now, our Constitution doesn't say, it provides for impeachments, but it doesn't say how many votes of the legislature you have to have for impeachment. This would dictate that would be 2/3 majority. Amendment 8 is the right to work constitutional amendment. As you all know, Alabama's a right to work state, meaning that you can't be forced to join or not join a union for employment. You can do whatever you want. You have a free will in that matter. This would put it in the Constitution so that we're more certain that that's going to be the law of the land from now on. That is an economic development tool for recruitment. When people know that it's in the Constitution, it's just more certain. So 11 is an amendment that gives you all some additional powers and authorities dealing with economic development, with manufacturing zones and incentives and that sort of thing. That's up to you all whether you support it. I supported it being on the ballot. I would think that that would be something that you all would support and would like to see done. Amendment 13 removes the age restriction on all elected or appointed offices in the state of Alabama except for judicial. Right now, there's a lot of boards, commissions, that kind of thing that you age out at age 70. University boards are that way. Maybe not Alabama and Auburn because those are constitutional boards, but all the other boards you age out. The judicial is not included in this because they couldn't get the votes to pass it in the legislature with that included. So that's why it's not on here, but this would remove that from all other offices. Amendment 14 is the one that's very, very important. Let's say tonight only 4 of you were here. That would be a quorum. And you had an issue that 3 of you supported and 1 of you opposed or abstained on. So you would have 3 of the 4, so the measure would pass. That would be a quorum of the body present, but not a quorum of the body. And that's the situation that we have with all these, or similar to that, is the situation that we have with all of these local amendments. This amendment 14 would just validate what has been done in the past, and then in the future we would go to the 3/5 of the quorum, 3/5 of the body. You don't need to remember all that and all that, the technical parts of it, but it basically validates all the local bills from 1986 to the present that you currently operate under, and there are several that affect Prattville and Autauga County, and I would certainly ask that you support that. So with that, I'll answer any questions, or if Representative Beckman wants to give any input on any of those, we can go from there.
Thank you very much, Mr. Chambliss. What I do want to address, I know a lot of people ask me, 14 is very important, and what it does in the House, it basically makes the actual law reflect our rules as far as the election. So when we go in there for local legislation, as far as the bill is concerned, it's going to mirror as far as our local bills, as far as the body, as far as having a quorum. So this is a technicality, but everybody's looking at this, everybody's worried about it because of economic development, because of bills that we have passed in the past that may come up. My understanding on this particular issue would be the fact that it would not rescind all the bills that would pass. They would be challenged individually as far as each local bill, and why that brings up a lot of questions is like the draft beer that we passed years ago and other local economic development. So this is very important, so you need to get it out to your constituents in your area. The other thing is I do want to shift gears a little. As you're all aware, I sit on the Judicial Committee and we hear the impeachment and what you read in the paper. I just want to let you know is that the things that you read in the paper is not necessarily what's going on. It seems like the governor's office releases the information before we've had time to look at the documentation of all the things that we have subpoenaed. There is going to be a committee hearing in reference to oral argument in reference to whether we have the power to subpoena and get the documents. My position is very simple as with the committee. We do have it to meet our constitutional obligation. So that is what's going on, and so hopefully in the next week or two you'll hear more about it. But right now I can say as a representative, we haven't seen anything out there that's been pressing. We haven't seen any information. In fact, if any information is out there, we just haven't seen it, right, because they haven't given it to us.
Thank you. Does any council member have any questions or comments for Senator Chambliss or Representative Beckman? Thank you, gentlemen. Thank you for the job that you do, and appreciate you coming and bringing that information to us.
Thank you, and I have copies for each of you and then those in attendance.
Thank you. And also, thank you and the governor's office for the grant. It's long overdue for getting that Gurney building down. It's been an eyesore for years. Better late than never, so we appreciate that very much. Thank you. Mayor, you want to keep this? I've read it. You make sure you can verify it if the check doesn't get here.
Yes, this, again, thank not only the senator, our representative, but all of the staff that worked hard on this. Thank the council because, this has been, the county ought to be pleased with this too, because I know we had a little agreement with them. They're going to help us, they're going to assist us with removal of this building and hopefully the neighborhood. I know there's a lot of sports activists who are really going to be appreciating that building being gone and so many other opportunities that this opens up. But it's, it's always great when you see some of your tax dollars come back home, come back to work for us all. So again, thank you everybody who had anything to do with this, and thank you Senator and Representative there too. Thank you for that point of privilege. And pretty much all I have, Mr. President, just some public service announcements. Our annual Halloween Candy Walk event is scheduled for October the 27th from 4 to 6 p.m. downtown. We thank all downtown merchants for participating in this fun event and hope everybody wears proper safety colors and have a safe and fun event there. Due to a recent request by the Department of Corrections, we've had our recycling center on Ridgewood Road is now being manned during operating hours, which have changed to Monday, Wednesday, and Saturday. For more details, please check our city website. That's all I'm going to mention on that one, Mr. President, and that's the end of my report.
Thank you, Mayor. Does anyone have any questions or comments for the mayor at this time?
Thank you.